Governor Diri, who is seeking re-election on the platform of PDP, the Minister of State for Petroleum Oil, Senator Hennekin Lokobri, and the 2019 governorship candidate, David Leon. Quoting sources, the media report said the governor had considered 50 slots of senior special assistants, SSA, each to Lokobri and Leon, and has also promised them some measures of influence on decision-making. But faulting the reports through a statement released Monday in Abuja, Nabena, however, released a recent pictures where both Lokobri and Leon recommitted themselves before the APC national chairman, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, to deliver Timpri Silva and the party in Bayelsa. Nabena said the propaganda tactics being employed by the PDP camp in Bayelsa towards the governorship election will not work because people have made up their minds to sack the PDP administration for underdeveloping the state. The statement said our attention has been drawn to a sponsored propaganda in some quarters suggesting cracks in the solid camp of the Bayelsa APC ahead of the November 11 governorship election in the state. We will not be distracted because we are fully aware how desperate the incumbent governor Diri has become, therefore employing all manners of tactics, including propaganda and lies, just to cause confusion. But sadly, for the PDP, it is just too late because Bayelsans have made up their minds to sack the underdeveloper of oil-rich state. And still on the stories making rounds our political space this afternoon, Nigeria has no significant achievements since independence, NOI polls alleges. A polling service focused on the West African region, NOI polls limited in its latest poll conducted across Nigeria claimed that the country has had no significant achievements since independence. The organization in its annual Independence Day poll result released on Monday, October 2nd, revealed that 31% of adult Nigerians opine that Nigeria as a nation has not achieved anything since it attained the status of independence in 1960. The organization in its annual Independence Day poll result released on Monday, October 2nd, revealed that 31% of adult Nigerians opine that Nigeria as a nation has not achieved anything since it attained the status of independence in 1960. Furthermore, 23% cited insecurity as one of the greatest challenges Nigeria as a nation has faced since independence. Other challenges mentioned are economy, 20%, corruption, 20%, bad leadership, 17%, and ethnicity, tribalism, 8%. NOI polls noted that notwithstanding the challenges, Nigerians still pinpoint some achievements the country has made since her independence. The top three achievements include democracy, 14%, national unity, 9%, and telecommunications, 7%. Other mentions include large population, 3%, electricity, 3%, education, 3%, security, 3%, and social cohesion, 3%, amongst others. On the single important issue the current leadership of the country should address in the coming year, 28% of Nigerians mentioned the economy, which is closely followed by insecurity, 21%. Other issues mentioned are poverty alleviation, 13%, job creation, 9%, corruption, 8%, bad governance, 3%, electricity, 3%, and education, 3%. The United States of America top countries that have positively been impactful to the country's political and economic development since independence with 27%. It is by China, 24%, while the United Kingdom, which colonized Nigeria, polled 17%. Yes, it is political views on Ebon at the 103.5 FM. Remember that you can become part of the conversation by sending your reactions via SMS or WhatsApp messages on 08096661035. And then you become part of the conversation. And the next story we have for you this afternoon, Guba, cracks widen in Bayelsa APC. Jonathan may back the The crisis rocking the Bayelsa State chapter of the All Progressive Congress APC has deepened ahead of the November 11th governorship election in the state. No fewer than 10 political parties are fielding candidates for the poll, but the battle is majorly between Governor Diri, who is seeking re-election on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), and the former Minister of State for Petroleum, Chief Timpri Silva. However, sources with knowledge with political intrigues in the state said Diri is exploring the division in the APC to woo its members by dangling seemingly irresistible carrots to get their endorsement. A source said the governor has reached out to and lured prominent APC leaders, including the Minister of State for Petroleum Oil, Senator Henneken Lukbubri, and the 2019 governorship candidate David Leon into his camp. The two have reportedly distanced themselves from the campaign and political activities of Silva in the countdown to the forthcoming gubernatorial election in the oil-rich state. There are strong indications that the gulf between Lukbobri and Silva widened, following Silva's refusal to back his ministerial bid after APC won the presidential poll. Leon, who was defeated at the primary, has an axe to grind with the APC governorship candidate because he lost out at the shadow poll. Leon, who was sacked as Bayelsa State Governor-elect by the Supreme Court in February 2020, had thought that he would be given the right of first refusal in the consideration of the gubernatorial candidate of the governing party in the November election. Reconciliation in the divided Bayelsa APC has hit the rock as pleased by the national chairman, Alhaji Abdullahi Ganduje, and others top leaders to the warring chieftains have reportedly fallen on deaf ears. According to a source, Diri is capitalizing on the polarization to further divide the opposition ranks by giving a lot of concessions ahead of the poll. The source said the governor has promised to hand over to Lokobri as governor, with Leon as deputy governor, if the two can fully abandon Silva and team up with him to consolidate his hold on the oil-producing South-South state. Lokobri and Leon have fallen for the bait. Not only has the reconsidered 50 slots of senior special assistants each to Lokobri and Leon, he has promised them some measures of influence on the decision making. The source added. The next story we have for you this afternoon, Arawa youths to NJC relocate election tribunal appeal hearings in Delta, Kanu, others to Abuja. The Arawa Youths Alliance for Progress and Development, AYAPD, has expressed concerns over the rising political tension in some states, including Kanu and Delta states. The group, in a press conference held on Sunday in Abuja, further called on the National Judicial Council to address this issue by relocating all election appeal hearings and cases to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The group convener, Umar Bala Babayaro, noted that this was necessary in order to prevent potential agitations that could lead to law and order breakdowns across the country. He added that the move was a proactive step to safeguard the sanctity of the judiciary and protect the justices handling election related matters. What we do not want as a group in the state is aggrieved persons hijacking the peace and tranquility currently being enjoyed in Delta State, as there seemed to be growing tension in the camp of those who lost to their opponents at the various tribunals. They stressed that the political tension was not only in Delta State but can be sensed in some states across the country. We believe as a group that our justices must be protected at all costs and the sanctity of the judiciary must be upheld at all times. We also know that the best way to do this is through the protection of esteemed wits of the judiciary, the group stated. The youth condemned the statement credited to some political elements who recently warned that the situation in Kano could degenerate into what is happening in Zamfara, following their allegations that federal elements were seeking to influence the tribunal outcome in favor of the All Progressive Congress. The group reiterated that the issues pointed out should be handled swiftly and carefully by the government of Nigeria to avert unnecessary agitations that may lead to breakdown of law and order, he stated. And still on the stories making rounds at political space this afternoon. Socio-economic rights and accountability project sues Akpabio, others over collection of PECs. Socio-economic rights and accountability project has sued the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and 9 other former governors in the 10th National Assembly over collection of salaries and pensions as lawmakers. Joined in the suit as respondents are Abdul Aziz Yari, Aminu Tambowa, Adamu Aliero, Adam Soshomole, Ibrahim Gaidam, Sarik Seriak Sariki Dixon, Ibrahim Dankwambo, Aliyu Wamako, Wenga Daniel, and Dave Umaye in the suit numbered FHC ABJCS 1360 2023 and filed over the weekend by his lawyers Kolawale Uluwadare and Valentine Adegoke. At the Federal High Court Abuja, the group is seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel the defendants to stop collecting both salaries and pensions, as well as return any pension collected to their states' treasuries. It is seeking an order of mandamus to direct and compel the senators and ministers to disclose the details and amounts of pensions so far received by them in the suit. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project is arguing that the seventh schedule to the 1999 Constitution as amended requires the ex-governors to stop collecting both salaries and pensions and to return any pension collected. The organization is insisting that unless the reliefs are granted, the SY governors would continue to enjoy life perks as serving public officers while travesty and private self-interest continue. The body is also maintaining that it is a fundamental breach of their fiduciary duties for former governors to collect both salaries and pensions, adding that the action is detrimental to public interest. According to Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, collecting pensions as former governors and salaries while serving as public officers is a flagrant violation of the letter and spirit of the Constitution and public trust. And still on the happenings in our political space this afternoon, the next story we have for you. Agents list for Imo, Bayelsa, Kogi Guba polls must be ready October 10th. INEC insists. Ahead of the November 11th governorship election in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has urged the political parties to submit list of agents. It foreclosed the extension of the October 10 deadline for the exercise. National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Ulumekun, who issued a statement yesterday, also deplored the insecurity in the land. According to him, INEC's engagement with political parties is to engender peaceful polls. INEC earnestly appeals to all political parties and candidates to avoid utterances and acts that may heat up the polity. The Commission will continue to closely monitor the situation and sustain its engagement with security agencies and stakeholders to ensure peaceful conduct of elections in the three states, he stated. Olumekun said With less than 72 hours to deadline, only 55% of agents had been uploaded on the electoral umpires portal by political parties for the elections since the advertisement on August 24th. His words for Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi, only 55% of expected total of 189,180 polling units agents have been uploaded to the designated INEC portal. Specifically, 29,278 out of the expected 40,372, 72.5% for Bayelsa, 51,681 out of 85,644, 60.3% for Imo, and 23,720 out of 63,144, 37.6% for Kogi State have been uploaded. Similarly, only 25.1% of the expected 15,804 collation agents in the three states have been uploaded, 1,246, 26.0%, and out of 4,806 for Bayelsa, 1,638, 27.3%, and out of 5,994 for Imo, and 1,095, 21% out of 5,004 for Kogi. The Commission hereby wishes to further remind political parties that the portal will automatically shut down at 12 o'clock midnight on Tuesday, October 10th. There shall be no extension. Consequently, all parties sponsoring candidates for the election that are yet to upload the list of their agents should do so before the deadline for the exercise. The statement read. And the next story we have for you this afternoon, Anglican Bishop falls federal government's palliative, says is mockery. Archbishop of the Archbishop of Diocese of Kaduna Anglican Communion, Tinubu, lampooned the federal government over palliatives secured for Nigerians following the removal of petrol subsidy, saying it is more of mockery on the sensibilities of the poor masses. Yahaya said the palliatives the people need should be able to address the economic realities in the country, which could also stand the test of time. He added that the negative impact of the subsidy removal rubbished the value of ongoing palliative being distributed across the country by the government. According to the Anglican cleric, there is no leadership in place as long as the majority of the people are unhappy due to socio-economic hardship across the country. The fourth Anglican Archbishop of Kaduna Province spoke to newsmen yesterday before the Thanksgiving service at the Cathedral of St. Michael, Kaduna, on his recent election as Archbishop. Yahaya said, our advice is not only to the Christians, but to leaders all over the world. Leadership today has become a source of decoration. It is no longer a source of responsibility. I call on all leaders to ensure that at least their followers have some respite in this difficult time. Second, leadership should be responsible and responsive to the people. When the people are smiling, that means there is leadership in place. When the people are crying, leaders are not supposed to be asleep until they ensure that the people are smiling. Let us be our brothers' keepers in this difficult time. Let us carry one another's burdens so that our burdens will be lighter. That is my call to all and sundry. The real palliative, he noted, is ensuring that schools are in order, railway lines are in order, the insecurity conundrum is over, and prices of food in the market is reduced to the barest minimum so that food can be affordable. They said they have added 35,000 naira to workers' salary for the next 6 months, but it still remains bleak for us to know what is going to happen after 6 months. Are we going back to the status quo? Are they going to increase